Hi, today we're going to be talking about black lime, one of my absolutely favorite but brand new spices that I just learned about. This is black lime we're going to be talking about today. Very exciting. And to understand the history of black lime, you have to start with the history of limes. Because what black limes are is limes that are harvested, then boiled in a salty brine, and then left to sun dry out in the hot sun, and they become hard and leathery and full of really interesting flavor. So let's talk about the history of limes. Limes are native to Indonesia and the nearby Asian mainland. We think that traders brought them to India, and then Arab traders picked them up in India and brought them back to the Middle East around 1000 CE. By the 10th century, the Arab traders had introduced the fruit throughout the Middle East and then up through Egypt and North Africa. From there, with the help of the Crusaders, who fell in love with limes, they were brought back from the Middle East and Africa to the southern Mediterranean where they would grow. They made it all the way over here to the Americas in 1493 by Christopher Columbus on his second voyage to this area. And then they were planted all over the West Indies and then eventually in Florida and Mexico. And we had limes now all over the world growing wherever citrus could grow. There are different kinds of limes. There's the Mexican lime, there's a Thai lime, there's the key lime that we all love for pies, and then there's the Persian lime, which is a little bit smaller and what is used to make black limes. Black limes also can come in a lighter situation. The white limes just haven't been fermented as long, and they don't have quite as musky of a taste. And so you can see they smell much more like lime. This smells musky, this smells citrusy. But most recipes call for the dark lime. You use these limes primarily in Persian cooking, and you use it in stews and soups and other things that it sits for a long time. We are going to make with this black lime a Persian chicken and kidney bean stew. Now, before we go watch how we're going to make this, I need to give you a caveat. This is one of the very first videos that I am recording for my new YouTube channel. Every video I watched on YouTube that told me how to start a YouTube channel told me that I just needed to do it, whether it was a good video or not. And they basically told me it would not be a good video the first, second, 10 times. So when you watch this video, you're going to see it shaking a little bit. You're going to see cords in the way. But the information is still really good, and I will get better. And so I really hope you stick with me as we go on this spice journey. So let's look and see how to make this really good spring-like chicken kidney bean dried lime stew. I have here 1.5 pounds of chicken thighs, boneless, skinless. I cut it into 1-inch cubes. I salted it with and peppered it, and I put it into the pan with a tablespoon or two of oil and cooked it off a little bit. Then I have 1 large onion finely chopped. I have 6 ounces of scallions
2 cups of parsley, and a cup of cilantro chopped. We're going to put in a tablespoon of turmeric and a tablespoon of fenugreek. Of course, our black limes, 2 cans of kidney beans, and some chicken broth. All very simple, except for the black limes, simple to source. So now that we've cooked our chicken, we are going to turn on our stove to a medium-high heat. We still have the oil left over from the chicken in the pan, and we are going to put in the onions along with our tablespoon of turmeric. And this is Burlap and Barrel's New Harvest turmeric. It is very bright, will turn everything yellow, so be careful that you don't get it on yourself or on anything else. And we are going to put that right into that, and we're going to mix it up until we cook the onions through. And you can see here how bright we have the onions looking with that turmeric. And we will keep going here and let that cook off. Here's what our onions look like now that they have been cooking for about 5 minutes. And we are going to add, excuse the shaking here, all of our greens, our scallions, our parsley, and our cilantro. Make sure we get it all out of the bowl here. So that's all in. And we're going to stir that up until it is wilted and really bright green. See how awesome that looks now? Bright green with the orange onions. Now we're just going to add our chicken back in. We are going to add the fenugreek. That's a tablespoon of fenugreek. And then we are going to add 4 cups of chicken broth. So we're just going to pour this whole container in. And we're going to let it come to a boil before we simmer it. Now the last thing we're going to put in here are our black limes. Here they are. They're small. Some of them are slightly bigger. They're black. They smell not real limey. They sort of smell really lightly, maybe of dust or something like that. I don't know. And we're going to just put all 5 of these right into our stew. And we're going to let them soak and get soft in there. Because if I tried right now to stick this with a paring knife to get some of the juice off, it'd be really hard. You can do it. And some recipes do call for that. But this recipe is going to have us simmer this for about 15 minutes. And then I'm going to pull 3 of these out and stab them with the knife and throw them back in for another 15 minutes. So it's going to simmer for about a half an hour or so until most of the liquid is done. And then at the very end, I'm going to throw in the 2 cans of kidney beans. All I've done is drain these, nothing else, and heat them until they're warm, and then we're done. And then we can serve this with a pita or couscous or whatever you want with your nice Persian dinner.
Okay, this is what my dried lime chicken kidney bean stew looked like when it was done. I added to it at the end, after I tasted it, a little bit more salt and some ground black lime to just emphasize the flavor just a little bit. And it was delicious. Shared it with friends, shared it with my husband. Everybody agreed that this was a really great dish. And I have put the link for the dish in the notes right underneath it. Now, I've mentioned ground black lime a couple of times. And that's why this is such a new and exciting spice. Because now you can purchase, instead of having to go and buy these and grind them yourself, which is not fun, you can buy from Burlap and Barrel, my favorite spice company, ground black lime, not lamb, lime, black lime. And they buy theirs from a farmer in Guatemala. So this is a really interesting story. Guatemala is one of the #1 growers of cardamom. And one of the #1 buyers of cardamom is everybody in the Middle East who buys cardamom to drink in their coffee. The buyers in the Middle East went to the farmers in Guatemala and said, do you think you could also grow Persian limes and grind them? Because we can't always get them from Iran. So the Guatemalans did. Now they don't brine theirs. They just dry them out in the sun and grind them. And they are incredibly delicious. Now, would you like to know what you do with this stuff? Everything. You can put this on anything that you want a little bit of an acidy taste. It has I can't even pronounce it, a umami and citrus flavor. It is awesome. So here are just some of the ways that I have used this. You can sprinkle it on fruit salad. I put it every morning in my yogurt and blueberries, and with a little bit of olive oil for the anti-inflammatory I get from the olive oil. Delicious. Make sure you use the right olive oil though. Grilled fish, very good on grilled fish. You can make a rice or a pilaf dish and mix it in with that. Sprinkle it on top of hummus. If maybe you didn't add enough lemon to your hummus and it needs a little bit more citrusy, just sprinkle on the black lime. Add it to a tabbouleh salad or guacamole. You can put it on vegetables, whether you steam them or better off roast them. Broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower. So good on cauliflower. Now we're going to get to the important stuff, the drinks. You can use this as a garnish on a drink. Mix it with some sugar and then put it on the rim of your drinks for a really good sour or margarita. Yep. Now we've got a little bit going on here everywhere. I have put it into shortbread cookies. So now we have baked and we have cooked and we have sprinkled and we have put in drinks. So I am telling you, this is such a versatile spice that you will use often. It is also a really good alternative if you cannot find Merkurt, that's spelled Makrut limes. Those leaves are often used in Northeast Asian dishes. And if you can't get a hold of that or you're out of it in your pantry, then you can substitute this. One spice does multiple things. Pretty awesome, definitely worth its flavor. Want some more ideas? Mix it up in your rub for your smoked meats. Put it in a pork or chicken that you're doing in a lime, butter, and caper sauce. Or just a simple salad dressing. a lime olive oil, a honey ginger balsamic vinegar, a little bit of shallots, and then the black lime. Awesome on your salad. Now, where you can, if you want whole limes because you are making a stew and you don't want to use your grated, I got these at a local international store. Say a lot of Indian, a lot of Middle Eastern stuff, and you can get that. I've also bought them on Amazon before. That was sort of before we were sort of boycotting Amazon. So I went to my local store. Go to your local store because they're going to be able to help you. They may have other things you want. Really great to support those local ones. But if you live in a small town that doesn't have that kind of store, you can order it online without any problem. And then our black lime, we get on Burlap and Barrel's website, and you can just go down and click right in the notes, and it'll take you right there. It'll give me, a couple cents if you buy a black lime, but you should go check out Burlap and Barrel's website anyway, because they have an amazingly great amount of wonderful spices. You can store your whole limes in an airtight container for about a year. But then they are going to begin to lose their flavor. Just like any other dried fruit, if you just leave it too long, it just doesn't last. So put it in an airtight container and hold it tight. Use them up, and you can look up all sorts of stews that you can make in them. You could use them whole and put them into the cavity of your chicken and cook it that way and get that lime. Maybe add a tangerine and the black lime, give it a great thing. So the black limes are also a great source of vitamin C, calcium, and potassium. So now, not only do we have a great versatile spice that we can use in 100 different ways, and you can put down in the comments other ways you've figured out how to use it. And it has great source of vitamin A and vitamin C. You can use it on your drinks while you're cooking dinner. And this is just the beginning of our spice journey as we explore all different kinds of spices and where they come from and how to use them. And I'm so excited you're here, and I'm so excited you watched today's video with me. As I said, videos will be getting better, ordered more equipment. I'm excited about starting this new spice journey, and I hope that you come along for the ride. I'm Mara Kaplan, and this is Spices by Mara. Have a great day.